Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. The juicy matchup between Paris Saint-Germain and FC Bayern München is ahead of us. And I put this out on Twitter. Give me your questions, thoughts, or anything you have to say about Paris Saint-Germain versus FC Bayern in the UEFA Champions League. I'll make a video reacting to it. And as you can see, 315 likes, but 111 comments. I would try to go through this as quick as possible so the video doesn't go on for too long, but there's a lot of excitement going into this game. The difference between Goncalo, the starter, and impact sub, why can't he impact games from the start? I think it's because he's not good enough. I've heard one valid argument, which is he comes on towards the end of the game. It's usually maybe Paris Saint-Germain are looking for a goal, so we look more after for Goncalo. But there have been many games where he starts the game and there's no Dembuz, and there's no Kvaratskhelia. So we're looking for Goncalo as a starter and he just doesn't work. You have to understand, towards the end of games, you're playing against tired legs and more spaces open up. If you're a centre-back, you're focused as much as possible in the first half, in the first 15, 20 minutes of the second half. And after that, the focus starts to go down. So I think he looks better towards the end because it's easier. Second thing, I think he loves that pressure. Goncalo Ramos, when he sees a game is 0-0 and he comes on as a sub, he absolutely loves to come on and have an impact. So I think it's a mental thing, and obviously it's about his ability. It's easier to score against tired legs than when it is starting. That's why top players like, I don't know, Messi or Ronaldo start games and don't come off the bench when it's easier. I don't think Barcola would be able to replace Due. I really thought Due would be man of the match in this game, and Barcola just never shows up in big games, but hopefully he proves me wrong, and I hope the same. Bradley Barcola, obviously in the beginning of the season with Khvicha, obviously Khvicha's played 2 UCL games, missed only the Barca game, but Khvicha a little bit of an injury, Dembuz and Due bigger injuries, and Barcola just hasn't been able to step up to the plate, which is very unfortunate. Obviously I hope for the best versus Bayern, but obviously I'll be looking more at Khvicha, Kvaratskhelia, and then Bradley Barcola to win us that game. I mean, even against Barca, it was Seni Mayulu in his second Champions League start, and not Bradley Barcola that took us over the line, which is very frustrating. If we want a good game, we shouldn't play with Zabarnyi. I hope Luis won't play him. I mean, Zabarnyi is suspended for the game, so he will not play versus Bayern München, but I mean, Zabarnyi played in our biggest game so far this season against FC Barcelona away at the Montjuic and had a really great performance, including last-ditch clearance on the shot from Ferran Torres. So I don't know where your low in confidence for Zabarnyi comes from. It's a good distraction from Usama the Zerbi ball. I mean, you probably win your Champions League game as well. Do you think Bayern will come out and play? Let's say Bayern scores first. Will they play defensive football after they take the lead? I don't think defensive, maybe a little bit of a conservative. You're away, you want to keep the lead, and you know the danger of Paris Saint-Germain. But I think for majority of the game, Bayern München will try to play their football. You know, Paris Saint-Germain rarely get outpossessed by a team. But Bayern München, we played them twice under Luis Enrique, and Bayern have had more possession than us in the group stage game and in the Club World Cup game, despite us winning that game. So I think Bayern München will play their football, even if it's away, even if it's against Paris Saint-Germain. Do you think if PSG beat Bayern, it would be way too clear that PSG are going back to back? I mean, I guess so at the moment, because obviously, let's say until the knockout stages, maybe a City keeps performing as they're doing, maybe an Arsenal keeps performing as they're doing, so then they will pick another team which is the closest to PSG. So we say at the top, I think every football fan acknowledges that. And then there are competitors. Bayern is a competitor that has been brought up. They were good last season, they were good in the Club World Cup, and they've been the best team so far this season. So they are, you know, trying to take the crown from PSG, and now we'll see if they can take it or not. I think when we beat, if we beat Bayern, we keep the crown, but then another team will be looking for it, and you know, football fans will start pushing that team. Maybe it's Barca if they come into good form, maybe it's Liverpool, maybe it's Madrid, maybe it's City, maybe it's Arsenal. I think one of these teams, maybe Chelsea, obviously. So, unfortunately, no. I think, look, if you're a football fan, the favorites for the UCL is obviously PSG. That doesn't mean we're gonna go back to back. We can miss a penalty, we can have big injuries, we can concede stupid goals. That can happen. But favorites because of how great we are. But I still don't think people will. I don't know. I still think most people that know football knowledge know that PSG have the strongest chance in winning the Champions League, despite Bayern looking so great this season so far. And the matchup you're looking for in this game, I think, obviously, the big one you're looking forward to is Nuno Mendes, Olise. I mean, Nuno Mendes, you're basically looking forward to every winger he plays. Olise in great form as well. Coming up against Nuno Mendes, let's see what Michael Olise can do. Maybe Vitinha, Kimmich in that midfield. That's about it. I remember Kvaratskhelia versus Upamecano was really interesting to watch in the Club World Cup. I think Upamecano will probably be marking Ousmane Dembélé more. So yeah. How many goals is Dembélé and Kane scoring? I'm predicting a 3-1 victory to Paris Saint-Germain. Dembélé, we don't know if he's going to start the game at this point as well. I'm going to go for 1-1. 1 goal Dembélé, 1 goal Kane. Who do you think is going to be the man of the match? If PSG win or Bayern did? In my opinion, if PSG wins, I think it has to be Warren. Obviously, when it comes to the Champions League man of the match, it's mostly for the GA. I guess that's what you're talking about instead of my man of the match. My man of the match, the pick I would go for is, I know he just came back from injury, is João Neves. He was probably the best player in that Club World Cup game. I mean, he was absolutely sensational. João Neves. But he's probably going to be a star, so I'm going to go for Kvaratskhelia, who's been, I mean, ever since we signed him, he's been absolutely killing in the UEFA Champions League. Do you trust Chevalier for a sensitive match like Bayern? I trust Paris Saint-Germain for a sensitive game versus Bayern, because this is an opinion that I've shared many times. Last season, people saw us, Donnarumma saving us in big moments in the Champions League, which is 100% true. No Paris Saint-Germain supporter is denying the heroics of Gianluigi Donnarumma last season. But the thing is, Paris Saint-Germain have improved since last season. In the Champions League final, did Donnarumma save us? No. In the road to the Club World Cup final, did Gianluigi Donnarumma save us? No. And at the beginning of the season, we've won 3 out of 3, scoring the most goals in the Champions League. Has Donnarumma saved us? No. We went away to Barca. Chevalier, I think he only got 2 shots against him. Why? Because Paris Saint-Germain are so good defensively, and so good in the midfield, and so good in pressing, and so good at keeping the ball. We've improved since last season. Last season, we were great, but we still needed Donna to save us. This season, I don't feel like we need that. That doesn't mean Chevalier is not going to be tested this game. And I think this is a huge game for Chevalier. You know, until, you know, the end of this group stage, yes, we're going to face Spurs, Bilbao, Sporting, Newcastle, a lot of good teams, but no top team like a Bayern or Barca that we just faced. So I think this is a huge game for him. And I'm in full support in Chevalier. And even if the worst thing happened, he costs us a goal, it won't matter because we'll still be Bayern. I think this is the game football fans deserve. Arguably the 2 best teams in the world right now. I think we're definitely going to need a big game from Nuno and Hakimi, as well as the Warren stepping in for Fabian. As long as the attack can create chances, we should definitely come away with the win. And I do agree this is a game football fans deserve. Arguably the 2 best teams in the world right now. And Nuno Hakimi. I mean, Nuno Hakimi were superb for us last season, have been superb for us this season so far in the UEFA Champions League, and they will have to be superb once again, obviously. I'm really nervous going into this game. We've been so poor recently and Bayern have been amazing. How do you think we can win the game? Kimmich is destroyed, Thomas 255, whatever you want to be called. The thing I would say is you gotta differentiate between the league. It's like in the league, we're trying to compensate for it to be as good as possible in the UEFA Champions League. I mean, we have been better than even Bayern in the UEFA Champions League. So honestly, our league and concern doesn't concern me that much. Like last season, our UCL stinkiness didn't concern me in the league. So the same happens now. Our iffy form in the league will not concern me for a Champions League game. I will look at our Champions League form. It's like last season, we were good in Ligue 1, but that didn't make us confident for the Champions League. So why is it going to be the opposite now? Look at us in the Champions League. Look at what we did to Atalanta, Barca, and Leverkusen. That's why you should be confident. And as I've always said, nervousness and excitement is the same feeling. Just one is negative and one is positive. Change it to excitement. Be excited for this game. Let's see what happens. This is a great game. And, you know, we want to win the Champions League. To win the Champions League, you got to beat the best. So you got to be confident in your team. And how I think we're going to win this game? I think we'll just beat the better team. We'll take our opportunities. We have better individuals. We're better coached. Hopefully, maybe the atmosphere at the park can help us. Why are we acting like we are beating this Bayern team? Why are we acting like we're not beating this Bayern team? Obviously, we shouldn't be arrogant or overconfident. You know, there is a chance Bayern could win. If we're going to give it numbers, I'll probably give it 60% Paris Saint-Germain, 40% Bayern. But I don't know where this unconfidence in PSG is coming from. I can smell a 3-3 draw. I mean, if Bayern have a really great performance, I could see that happen. 3-3 draw. And, then we'll have to wait into knockout stages to see who's better because there is no away game. And then, obviously, Dua will be back for PSG, Fabian, Dembele will be healthy, and Davies and Musiala will be back. So, yeah. Chevalier going to sink or swim against Bayern? I hope Chevalier gets tested. Obviously, I don't want us to face a lot of shots. I want our defense to be good, but I want Chevalier to be tested and see his mentality because, I mean, yes, the knockout stages is still a bit far away, but it's soon going to come. And we want Chevalier to be ready. So, no, I think he will swim. Oof. Maybe in between. He would not sink, though. In your opinion, who should start in midfield? Zara, Emre, or Ruiz? More balance, or Ruiz, or more engine in the midfield would also massively help Nuno, Paquet, or Lise. I mean, Fabian Ruiz all day long. But, obviously, Fabian Ruiz just came back from injury, so I'll probably go with Warren, Zaire, Emre, with Fabian Ruiz. And if Dembele doesn't start, both him and Dembele come on and completely change the game for Paris Saint-Germain. PSG will be a good opponent, and happening in your stadium just gives you enough to make the game equal, because in Allianz Arena, y'all have no chance without being biased. Bayern fans, enjoy this 15-game honeymoon, because you're going to continue to be great so far this season, but against us, it'll be different. We're not Köln, we're not Wolfsburg, we're not Augsburg. Barcola problem? I don't really know why. Some players, it's easier to find the valid reasons for their poor form or anything, but Bradley Barcola, honestly, I don't have an answer to. What do you think of current Bradley Barcola? Is the PSG starboard is being replaced permanently behind Due? I think Desiree Due took Bradley Barcola's place in the starting 11 against Villa. And that's when he took his place. In both Liverpool ties, Barcola started, both Due came on as a sub. And then versus Villa, Lucha opted to start Due in the first game. Due had a great game and scored an absolute golazo. And I think ever since then, we haven't looked back. And yeah, it's quite clear. I don't think there's a debate about Barcola or Due. I think it's Due quite clearly. We will win in amazing fashion, 3-0. Obviously, that gives me memory from 17-18 when we beat them at the Parc 3-0. I would absolutely love that. But I don't see a clean sheet. We could have a clean sheet, but I don't see it. We've been good defensively, but, sometimes, always one moment, something happens. And, Olise, Kane, and Diaz are in absolute insane form. So, who knows? When will Barcola unlock that killer finish? He has the killer finish. He's just not consistent with it at all. Like, sometimes you can see Barcola score a goal, and you're like, oh my days. Like, against Arsenal, scored 2 absolutely insane goals that maybe no player in our team can score. And then he misses the most easiest chances. So, his main issue is his consistency in the finishing. He's a great finisher. He's just not consistently a great finisher. So, I guess that comes with confidence. I don't think it's something he has to train on. Maybe train on, but I think it's mostly confidence. A bit similar like Dembouz going from 6-4 goals or something to 30+ goals. I think it's all confidence. How he's going to unlock it, it's very hard for me to answer. We'll miss Zabarnyi, I guess. I'm very confident in Marquinhos. I think Marquinhos has been good so far. I think the competition with Zabarnyi has made Marquinhos even better. So I'm not really concerned about missing Zabarnyi for this game. Let's be honest with ourselves. This is only a league phase game. This will not define our season. We will know where we stand around March. But this will for sure be an entertaining game to watch. When you say that, it feels like you're preparing for a defeat. But obviously, in the bigger scheme, in the bigger picture, this is a group stage game. But Paris Saint-Germain have made it very clear so far this season that we are treating every single game in the UEFA Champions League, even if it's a group stage game, as if it were a big game. Why do you think we beat Atalanta 4-0? Why do you think we still beat Barca with a depleted squad? Why do you think we absolutely smacked Bayer Leverkusen 7-2? Because we want to show a message. And there's no better game to show a message in than against Bayern, who are 15 out of 15 victories. The best start to a season any team has ever had in the European top 5 leagues. So, no, I think it's quite clear. Paris Saint-Germain want to send a message out to Europe that we're going to go back-to-back. And I think Bayern, there's no other better team to prove it against. Usually one of our fullbacks can push up, but with their wingers, we can't. Midfielders can't take over because they ain't got the pace. So if the game gets end-to-end, it's Russian roulette. Usually one of the fullbacks can push up, but with their wingers, we can't. Not really. When we played, for example, Liverpool, yes, not the same team and so on, but they had Luis Diaz and Mohamed Salah on the wings. Was it Hakimi marking Luis Diaz? In the away leg, yeah, but we played a little bit more defensively. But at the Parc des Princes, it was Marquinhos marking Luis Diaz, Nuno Mendes marking Salah, which would be Olise this time, and then Pacho in the center marking Harry Kane. So no, Hakimi will still be pushing up. What Bayern player would you pick if you could get one for free? I think Musiala is probably someone we've talked about a lot on this YouTube channel. And then you have recent signing Michael Olise. I'm going to pick Olise. I think Olise last season is better than any Musiala season, which just talks about, like, Olise didn't need that much time. Obviously, he's a little bit older and so on. But he didn't need as much time as Musiala to get to that great of a season. And we're looking for a left-footed right winger. And he's French. And he's from Paris. And there's a video circulating with him saying, Ici c'est Paris. Maybe he was a PSG fan when he was younger. So I think it's quite clear Olise. But I'm picking Olise because of the price tag and so on, but another one I really love to PSG is Upamecano. And obviously, it's not that far-fetched. Upamecano's contract ends in the summer. There are controversies between him and Bayern for a contract extension. Maybe extends, maybe not. And PSG could go Upamecano. So those three, but Olise number one. I don't think Bayern stand a chance versus PSG. I think PSG will win by at least 2 goals. Wow. I don't know what to say, man. Especially coming from a Madrid fan as well, not like a PSG fan or something. So, I think Bayern obviously stand a chance against PSG, but I mean, I'm predicting myself a 3-1 victory to Paris Saint-Germain. So I agree in that. I think the game will be really tight, but what will differentiate between us, what will manage to get the win to PSG, is that the greater individual ability. Let's see. I think Kompany's a fraud manager against good teams. I think y'all gonna humble Bayern. I mean, look, we often say that Liverpool was the toughest team of last season. But if we're gonna include the Club World Cup, honestly, because we absolutely smacked Liverpool in the first leg as well, despite losing, I think Bayern München was the toughest team we've faced in 2025 in the Club World Cup. Yes, we got beaten 3-0 by Chelsea, but I don't care about that. Fugazi game. Irrelevant. But no. I mean, they played against Paris Saint-Germain, the best team in the world, and they had a really great performance. So, last season, they were very unfortunate versus Inter Milan as well. So, no, I don't think so. And obviously, Bayern are going to play us, and they're going to play Arsenal next up. So, Kompany can even prove himself even more. Do you think it'll be a high-scoring game, 4+ goals overall, or less goals? I'm predicting a 3-1 to Paris Saint-Germain. So, I guess 4 goals. Could we get more? Could we get an absolute goal fest? I don't really think so. I think if Bayern play Barca, there's a way higher likelihood of a goal fest because Barca are not the best defensively, but are really great offensively. But Saint-Germain on the other hand, as we saw in the UCL last season when we faced the satanic Prem teams, we got 1-0 versus Liverpool, we got 1-0 versus Arsenal away. We're way better defensively, and we want to keep a clean sheet for as long as possible. So no, we're not a satanic high-line team that will push and we don't care how many goals we concede as long as we score more. No, we want to take control of the game. So I don't think it will be absolute. I'm predicting a 3-1, but I don't think it'll be like an insane goal scoring game. No. Chevalier will 100% cost us the game versus Bayern? I don't believe so. And if you're a Paris Saint-Germain supporter saying this, you should not be saying this. But yeah, Chevalier, you know what? Prove these haters wrong, man. Please, Chevalier. Playing every single match and competing in every single competition last season, maybe catching up to PSG. Along with that, there was no real preseason. Very good opinion here. I obviously saw the numbers as well. You know, Paris Saint-Germain had like only 7 days to rest and train ahead of the UEFA Super Cup game versus Spurs, and then the league immediately started. So yes, but this is obviously going to mostly affect the beginning of the season. But now the players are getting rest when they're injured, they're getting their injuries, and then they will come back even better and even stronger. And what we've seen so far is that despite all of the injuries, still first in the UCL, still first in Ligue 1, which just shows the greatness of Luis Enrique, the greatness of the squad depth, and also a lot of the players returning quite quickly, not being out for that long, apart from maybe Du and Dembele. What do you think of the myth that Kompany never won a big game? As we seen Kompany won a big game. I mean, I guess in that sense, you can say so. But I mean, last season in the group stage, the only big team they faced was Barca. I can't remember the other Part 1 team they faced in the group stage. Remember they faced Villa? Oh, they faced us. I mean, you can count that as a big game in terms of that team eventually win the Champions League, but obviously Paris Saint-Germain were piss poor. I mean, we were drawing to PSV and barely winning against Girona and losing to Atletico and Arsenal. I mean, technically that game. But apart from that, in the knockout stages, they faced Celtic, I believe, in the round of 32. And then they played Leverkusen. You can't consider that a big game. And then obviously they played Inter. First game ended in a draw, I think, or Inter victory or something. And then obviously, the other game they lost it. No, I think they drew. Eric Dyer lost Minigol or something. And then obviously in the Club World Cup, I don't think they faced a big team apart from PSG, and they lost to. So I guess so. But I mean, he's been there a short time, and he hasn't really met those kinds of oppositions. It's only been Inter, you could say, maybe Barca in the beginning of last season that technically counts as a big team that he could have beaten, and PSG in the Club World Cup as well. So. Do you think PSG is going to win, and why? I believe Paris Saint-Germain will be winning this game, and my reason is, I mean, look at us. We've beaten the entirety of Europe. Honestly, it's true stuff. When you look at Paris Saint-Germain, the football that we play, I think is the best football. Second of all, the talent. I think we have the best football talent in the world, like player for player, individual talent. Luis Enrique, best manager, best system. And then it's also the repetition that Paris Saint-Germain have had. I mean, what we have done in 2025, in like 9-10 months, we've demolished every single team in Europe, apart from Chelsea. So I think that's the reason why every single Paris Saint-Germain is confident for this upcoming game, and we believe we'll beat Bayern. I think this is going to be a high-quality game of football between the two of the best. I 100% agree, Boubacar. I think this will be an absolutely spectacular game between the two best sides in the world. The game will be decided on the finishing of the wingers. I mean, come on, put some pressure on Harry Kane. But I guess maybe you think Harry Kane will score, and then you're unsure. Obviously, Luis Diaz, I think he scored a lot of goals, but he's also missed, I think, the most big chances in Europe top 5 leagues so far this season. And Olise, we know he's not the best finisher either. Paris Saint-Germain, Khvicha. Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of pressure on both Khvicha Kvaratskhelia and Bradley Barcola to win on this game. So that's a valid assessment, rather. At what point of the game will you treating the rest of your air out and turning into posts about Barca so you can get... Man, Barca fans are so weird, man. Who do you think will be man of the match, and who do you see game panning out? My prediction, as I said, I will go for João Neves. I think the official man of the match could be going to Khvicha Kvaratskhelia because he has the most likelihood of getting, GA. That's what they care about. But like performance, I think João Neves, because he was really good in the Club World Cup game versus Bayern. How I see the game panning out? I mean, both teams want to keep possession. Both teams will press. Both teams will not sit back. Will play on a high line. There will be a lot of press. I think majority of the game will be played in like the middle of the pitch. A bit similar to the Barca game, but we won't see similarities to what happened in the Barca game in the second half. I don't think Bayern will be as poor as Barca was in the second half. So I think it will be just a end-to-end game, a lot of pressing, a lot of moments, a lot of possession, and we're going to see a lot of great individual ability. You're going to see Olise trying to dribble, Khvicha trying to dribble, and so on. So that's how I see the game panning out. But my prediction, if you're asking for that, I think Paris Saint-Germain will win 3-1. Very intense match, one that's impossible to predict correctly. Could be, obviously, I think Bayern, out of every single team in the world, has the largest chance of beating Paris Saint-Germain. So I guess in that sense, yeah, I think it's somewhat of an unpredictable game, I guess, from a neutral perspective. Shows your combined 11. Be honest at the moment. You can go and watch the video. I've put it out, but just for you, I would say it. Neuer, Hakimi, Nuno, Pacho, Upamecano, full PSG midfield, Neves, Vitinha, Fabian, Olise, Kane, Dembele in attack. PSG's beating Bayern. This isn't even that big of a game. I think it's a big game. I think it's a huge game. But yeah, I agree PSG's beating, but I don't think you should disrespect Bayern that much, man. You're probably a Prem fan? Arsenal, yeah. Okay. That's why. Carl, if played, will be Bayern's best player, but that won't be enough to hide all their flaws. And PSG, if they play like we know, they can win pretty convincingly. Carl, if played, Bayern's best player. You have to understand, playing against Augsburg and Club Rouge is easier than PSG. The thing about Carl, I'm not even criticizing his talent. I'm just criticizing the pressure. It's a huge game. Maybe Carl has an insane mentality we don't know about. Saying he's going to be Bayern's best player is a joke. To hide all of their flaws, I don't know really what Bayern's flaws are. Do you think Kimmich playing in the midfield or right back will change the game state? I mean, I don't think he's played a single time as a right back under Vincent Kompany, because especially Kimmich doesn't want to. Will it change the game state? Yeah, but not that much. I believe Kane will score a dagger in the end. Okay. Why are underestimating Bayern? 3-1 is a prediction. I don't understand how that's me underestimating Bayern. You want me to say, oh, it's going to be a 3-3 because both teams are great? Yeah, both teams are great, but there's still a distance. Kane is scoring a hat-trick. Has Kane ever scored Champions League hat-trick? Obviously, if you discount Pafos and all the easy games. I mean, Kane wasn't even big when Spurs went to the final. It was like injury. Heung-min Son was better. Bayern gonna battle PSG. Let's be honest. PSG's recent form hasn't been good, especially in the league. Especially in the league? You mean only in the league? It's so funny because if we had won all of our Ligue 1 games, nobody would care. If I told someone, I think we'll beat Bayern because we've won every single Ligue 1 game, they'd be like, nobody cares, Farmers League, Ligue 1. But now that we're a little bit mid in Ligue 1, now suddenly everyone cares about our league form. That just shows you these agenda merchants. They're not here to talk the truth. They're not here to sound logical. They're just here to troll, to act like a child. It's embarrassing. The result doesn't matter because it's November, but the match will show who is boss right now. Fair play. Obviously, it won't determine who wins the Champions League, but it will determine who's the better, I guess, in the moment or in that 90 minutes. Yeah, fair. Be honest, do you see PSG finally breaking Bayern's dominance this time, or will be another reality check? Another reality check? I don't think we have gotten a single reality check. I mean, even that Fugazi defeat to Chelsea was not a reality check. That was just a very bad performance from Paris Saint-Germain and a really great performance from Chelsea. But no, I think Paris Saint-Germain will break Bayern's dominance. Unrelated, but wanted to ask your thoughts on Zlatan claiming Yamal deserved Ballon d'Or due to the individual difference he created. The fact his jersey on your walks make me curious to know. I mean, Zlatan Ibrahimovic was my favorite player. Maybe Dembouz is over. I believe Dembouz is probably overtaken, but you know, Zlatan Ibrahimovic was my favorite player growing up. But his football opinions, I don't care about them. Because, you know, I'm not like Messi and Ronaldo fans. Messi and Ronaldo fans, they basically deify Ronaldo and Messi. So basically everything Messi says they agree with. Everything Messi disagree with, they disagree with. Zlatan's opinions is Zlatan opinions. That has nothing to do with me. And I completely disagree with Zlatan Ibrahimovic's opinion, as I disagreed with Zidane and other Fugazi opinions about Yamal. I think Kimmich is not elite midfielder. Reminds me of what you say about De Jong. Looks world-class against smaller position, only to be a liability in big games. Are predicted to be exposed on Tuesday unless they play him at right back. Honestly, that's a very good comparison you make to De Jong. Because Kimmich, you know, I look at SofaScore, they put out like Kimmich, most passes, most touches, everything most. And then you actually watch Kimmich, especially in the big games as you mentioned. I remember Kimmich in the Club World Cup game. I don't remember a single thing he did that entire game. And it's so many games. It's so many big games where Bayern needed him something. You got to remember, prime Kimmich, the best version of Kimmich, as you mentioned, was as a right back. We've never seen this unbelievable Kimmich. I would say the Kimmich we saw that was somewhat good, somewhat great, was Kimmich under Nagelsmann. Ever since then, it's been a bum. Not a bum. But I agree in terms of ratedness, and I agree he's not an elite midfielder. That's why I put a three-man PSG midfield in the combined 11. Yeah, everyone wants to watch this game.
Right.
Imagine being so good, there's no competition. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously the PSG and Bayern being able to rest players in the league before their UCL games tells you everything you need to know about their respective leagues. I mean, this doesn't make any sense as most teams rest their players before games. This has mostly been a filthy narrative from the Premier League fan base, because look at what PSG has done. We've absolutely obliterated the Premier League. So instead of being honest and saying, you know what, this Paris Saint-Germain team is absolutely insane. No, let's step down. Let's talk like children and say, oh, you're playing in League and it's so easy. But as you said, everybody's still going to watch the game. Everybody still agrees PSG and Bayern are two best teams. But yeah, we play in a Farmers League. You guys can see the 2 goals to Leverkusen. You can see the 2 goals from them. Believe me, you guys are cooked. My advice, just don't come to the field. Run away. I repeat, run away. You know, the issue I have with people like these is they talk so much before the game, like sound like complete trolls. And then after the game, you don't see them anywhere. Like, when you're gonna lose, what's gonna be your excuse? I mean, in my 3-4 years as a PSG int, never had excuses after defeats. I mean, that's just my mentality as a person. What's the point in making excuses? Even if you have valid excuses. For example, when we lost 6-1 to Barca, I mean, the referee in that game never managed to referee Champions League game after that because of all the horrific errors he made in that game. But even when I talk about that game, I talk about our bad performance. I talk about our bad mentality going into that game, feeling confident because we're 4-0 up. So no, I'm actually the last person that makes excuses. I think we need Kvara and Dembele in U form, or we'll struggle, and we need Nuno amazing runs, but I think we should play Zabarnyi. I mean, Zabarnyi is suspended. Yeah, Kvara, Dembele, those are our two big Champions League attackers, and Nuno Mendes obviously is huge. Ashraf Hakimi as well. So, and obviously we need the midfielders. We need everyone to perform and have a great game. This is Bayern. This is not an easy team. We need everyone to cook. It's not going to be easy like the Barca game. I'm sorry, this is off topic. Can you please react to this? I couldn't comment your old tweets. As you said, Madrid are building around Mbappe like it was at PSG. But do you think this could cost them in later stage of UCL? And do you think Mbappe will go like he did at PSG? I think Mbappe, it's two stuff. I think it was worse at PSG because Mbappe didn't have the same desire. I think Mbappe has way more desire and motivation. But I agree. We've seen Mbappe, the team built around Mbappe, and Mbappe trying to lead a team trying to be reliant on Mbappe. And it's not worked. So I fully believe in that pattern. I think what Madrid have is Vini. Vini, if he keeps performing, he could be very good. So if Mbappe has a stinker, Vini could do something. A little bit like in El Clasico. I wouldn't say Mbappe had a stinker, but he had we've seen better Mbappe games, especially against Barca. Vini was really good. So I think that could help them out. But I do agree. The over-reliance on Mbappe, we've seen it doesn't work. But I do think Mbappe has more desire and motivation. So maybe it could. But yeah. If you could take any player from Bayern to PSG, who would you take and why? I've already answered this question. I like Musiala, Ulisse, and Upamecano. Ulisse, obviously, number one out of the three. So I would love to have Michael Ulisse. We need a left-footed right winger because all of us see Desiree do way more as a number 10, as a midfielder. And Ulisse, left-footed right winger, we need that. He's from Paris. He's French. How do you think we'll fare without Due and fully fed Dembele? I mean, when we play Bayern in the Club World Cup, we didn't have Dembele. So having a 70% Dembele is already better. Due, obviously a big miss. But, that's where the rest of the team got to overcompensate. Ashraf Hakimi, Bradley Barcola, please. And Barcola was actually good in the Club World Cup game versus Bayern. So confident in, not Barcola filling Due's shoes, but doing something. Bayern will win the UCL. I believe Bayern are one of the favorites. Probably, maybe already second, maybe. Because I used to have Barca, but maybe Bayern have taken that spot after the poor form from Barca so far in the beginning of the season. Will they win it? Have to wait and see. PSG versus Bayern is always a tight match. Both teams in their prime. PSG in their golden age and Bayern back to winning ways. It will be a match between Kompany and Rieke. And Kompany will win. We'll see. All the best to both of us. Hope the game is worth the hype we've created this season. I 100% agree. 100% agree. Hopefully it meets the expectations. Because obviously PSG Barca was supposed to be playing last season in the final. And then, the hype went over into this season. We got drawn against each other and it really didn't live up to expectations. So I hope this one does. Do you think that this game would be a big test for Chevalier? 100%. I thought the Barca game would be Chevalier's big test, but obviously Barca were poor offensively. I think Chevalier only faced 2 shots the entire game. So, no, I think this way more likely. Especially Barca, they were missing Rafinha, they were missing Lewandowski. Bayern have their front three firing on all cylinders. So, if Chevalier doesn't get tested this game, he will never get tested. So, yeah, this is a huge test for Chevalier, and I'm confident in Chevalier stepping up. Is the Neymar performance versus Bayern in 2020 the best you have seen? I mean, definitely one of the best. Definitely one of the best, man. He was crazy. It was crazy. Both clubs are going to miss players due to injury, but which one is affected more? Bayern München obviously missing Jamal Musiala and Alphonso Davies. Paris Saint-Germain missing Desiree Doué. And I mean, I guess if you want to put it like Fabiano is not going to start the game because he just came back from injury. Dembele maybe doesn't start the game because he just came back from injury. But obviously, I would say Bayern. I think Alphonso Davies, now they have Luis Diaz, but before, Alphonso Davies used to be the only outlet that Bayern had. So he's really crucial. Obviously, Jackson, Gnabry, or when Kane drops down and Jackson plays a striker, have done good. But obviously, Bayern, Musiala is a huge miss. And we haven't seen Musiala play with David Olise and Kane yet. So I'm going to say Bayern. Are you in any way scared of the game? Absolutely no. But that has more to do with my mentality. I have never, as a Paris Saint-Germain supporter, gone in scared. Maybe apart from when we played the 2015 Barca, I guess. It felt like the game was already over, especially because we're missing, I think, Thiago Silva and Ibrahimovic for the first game. But I've never been really scared going into a game. I'm not scared. But I'm very excited, but I'm also somewhat cautious. This is a great team. This is a team that can beat Paris Saint-Germain. This is a team that can, make us suffer, put us in uncomfortable situations. But that's what you want. That's why you're in the Champions League. That's why you want to win the Champions League, to prove you're better than the others. So, not scared. Kane, Olise, and Luis Diaz have been deadly this season. How well do you think the defense will handle their attacking threat? Honestly, Kane, I've said it before. Kane has played us 2 times with Bayern. And this Kane dropping gimmick just doesn't work. He's shown no threat in both of those games. So I'm not that concerned about Kane's goal scoring. His playmaking, though, could be extremely dangerous, especially with the runs of Luis Diaz. Olise, as you face him in the Club World Cup, and one thing I would say with Olise, sometimes he's a little bit unthreatening. He's a little bit too far away from the goal. He's not the quickest. He doesn't have the best finishing and shooting. More of a playmaker. Luis Diaz could be the danger one. We obviously faced him last season when he was at Liverpool, and he wasn't that good across both legs. He was a little bit cheeky in the Anfield game, but his decision-making the final third wasn't it. But he has Olise and Kane, 2 of the best playmakers in the world. So Diaz, he is the scary one. It was the same when we're going to face Barca. If they had their front 3 of Yamal, Leva, and Rafinha, I would have mostly been scared of Rafinha. Same here, Luis Diaz. It's that runner in behind with playmakers around him. It could be dangerous, especially with Achraf Hakimi pushing up. Luis Diaz is going to be in pockets with Marquinhos. I ended there. I'm really confident that we'll beat PSG. Fair enough. Some clubs coming in confidently thinking they can beat PSG. I'm like, you're deluded. You're deluded. But honestly, this Bayern team, if Bayern fans are confident they can beat PSG, farewell. Fair way. Do you think Kompany is a world-class coach? The issue with Kompany, he hasn't done it for a while, but I think he's done so many great stuff in such a short time. Obviously, this is still the beginning of the season. And what will prove if he's a world-class coach is what he does in the Champions League knockout stages, when it actually matters. But I guess world-class, people say, that means you're top 3, top 4 in your position in the world. I'm going to say Luis Enrique, Hansi Flick. And honestly, because I don't rate the managerial market, people want to say Arteta. I think Kompany has done better stuff in a shorter time than Arteta with less funding as well. So I'm going to put Kompany third. Yeah, I think he's a world-class coach in that logic. And 10 will be there to watch it. Do you think Nuno will be ahead on Olise too? What does that mean? I think he will win the individual battle. I think it will be a little bit easier than Yamal, even if Yamal was really easy for Nuno. I mean, Nuno is just that good. I think Olise could be dangerous if he makes. I don't think his dribbling is going to be that much, especially because he doesn't have too much pace or power against Nuno. But I think it's going to be a really great game. So I'm very excited. We'll see what happens. You have MVP from both sides. Okay. So my prediction, I think João Neves, performance-wise, will be the man of the match for us. I just think the style of the game, head-to-head, everything, I think Neves will be absolutely perfect in a kind of game like this. Bayern, I guess Kane is the easy one because he can score, he can play make, he can link up, he can pass. He can be very involved in the game. I guess Kane. Kane and João Neves. Limer is a cheeky one if he has like 4 big chances created or something and just finds spaces where we're not defending him well. Bayern is winning, I'm sorry. We'll see. Pick your combined best 11. Already done that. Manuel Neuer, Achraf Hakimi, William Pacho, Dayot Upamecano, Nuno Mendes, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, João Neves, Michael Olise, Harry Kane. and Ousmane Dembele. Do you think you can beat us? 100%. I believe so. Bayern looks good this season. PSG won't be as good as last season. I mean, we've already been better than last season. Yes, it's only in the group stage, and for us to determine that we're better than last season, we have to do it in the knockout stages. But group stage, we're definitely far better in the group stage last season. I mean, and we've done stuff that has any team scored 7 goals at UCL this season against Leverkusen away as well? No. So, no, we have shown that we're not. And in the Club World Cup, we showed that it wasn't some kind of purple patch, as you agenda merchants want to say. Do you think Donnarumma should get a yellow red card for Musiala's foul? No. I mean, even if you look at the video, Donnarumma is going out and catching the ball. And it was really unfortunate what happened, Jamal Musiala. Even though I was really mad from the reaction from a lot of Bayern fans, and even what Manuel Neuer said. But no. Donnarumma did not commit a foul. It just sometimes in football, unfortunate stuff happen. You know, for example, Donnarumma, I remember Zingo. He was trying to run for the ball, completely smacked him with his foot. Even though I think that was a little bit stupid, Zingo got nothing. And, you know, at the end of the day, it was calm. We won the game. Donnarumma got fit after that. And obviously the Jamal injury, Jamal Musiala, the Musiala injury is way worse. But no, it was not a foul committed by Gianluigi Donnarumma. Is this the greatest recent UCL rivalry? Maybe. I've really enjoyed our games between each other. I remember PSG used to have a great one with Barca and Chelsea. Chelsea we faced like 3 times in 3 years. Is the greatest recent UCL rivalry? Maybe. I mean, they're top ones, especially the ones that Madrid have. Madrid Bayern, and then you have Madrid Liverpool as well in recent time. It's one of the best, definitely. The last time you played against us, you beat us 2-0 after that horror Musiala injury. I don't understand why that is so impactful, especially because Musiala wasn't that good before that injury. Well, this time around, it will be 2-1 to Bayern. Fair play. Fair play. All right, let's see if it happens. I can't wait for your defense to be exposed. Okay. Olise better than Dembele. Come on, not even you believe that. You don't even believe that. You underestimate the league. Your league record has been below subpar. I think Bayern will edge it by a goal, but it will be an entertaining game. I mean, all of this is so far. Yeah, I agree with. Not I agree that Bayern will edge it, but like all of this sounds okay. You underestimate the league. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Your league record has been. Again, what does our league form have to do with this upcoming game? It's always a top match when we face each other. PSG are in no way in the form they were at the end of last season. Even then, it was a close match at Club World Cup. Despite injuries, Bayern are flying, so I expect a close game. The Bavarians taking the points away from home. Respect. Respect? Yeah, I mean, you should be confident in your team, but PSG are in no way in the form they were at the end of last season. I mean, I don't understand these people. Haven't you seen what we've done in the UEFA Champions League? Like what? Let's say we beat Bayern in this game, but we still somewhat struggle in the league. Are people still going to bring up that argument? Nah, we got to smack Bayern. This is not acceptable, man. Who do we know? What? Getting cooked? We'll see. If you'd like to buy any Bayern player next summer, who would it be and why? Already said it. Michael Olise, left-footed right winger, friends from Paris. We like it. Upamecano, I like him a lot. And Upamecano is obviously heavily realistic with his contract ending. Olise, it's very hard for me to see it happening. Musiala is a cheeky one as well. But I got to pick Olise. I think it's going to be a tough game, and Arsenal is the best team right now. I think it's going to be a tough game, and Arsenal is not the best team right now. Bro is scared. What happened? If Bayern is beating PSG by 3 goals, Kane scoring in time. Okay. Bayern will thrash you. What's your combined 11? Already said it. Manuel Neuer, Achraf Hakimi, Nuno Mendes, Dayot Upamecano, William Pacho, Vitinha, João Neves, Fabian Ruiz, Michael Olise, Harry Kane, and Ousmane Dembele. Do you think that the injury of Doué will impact us negatively, or do you think he won't change a lot because Barcola is going to step up? I think, obviously, you want Doué on the pitch, but what we've seen from this Paris Saint-Germain team, it's not about the individuals, it's about the collective and the system. You know, we've missed players, and we've still performed at the level against Barca. No Neves, no Marquinhos, no Kvara, no Dembele, even worse. And obviously, Bayern are a better side so far this season than Barca. It will be a tougher test, but we're at home as well. So I think it's going to impact. But Barcola definitely has to step up. Do I believe he will step up is another question. PSG holding 3. Bayern will win in a hard-fought game, and we will see you again in the knockouts when we've got Fonzie and Musiala back. Okay. I mean, at least it says Bayern will win a hard-fought game. So in some sense, he respects us. Even though PSG won against Barca, I think Bayern will still beat PSG. It will be tough, though. All right. Who will be replacing Doué? Who will be the Bayern player who will be signing for PSG? All right, I'll say it quickly. Michael Olise. And who will replacing Doué will be Bradley Barcola. Barca fan, I really like some of your taste and mentality, especially as a Muslim, is great. I think it'll be a great game. Really excited to watch, or I don't know, I might watch Madrid because of the hate watch, but Bayern will be extremely tough for sure. 14 games unbeaten now. Thanks so much for the appreciation there. Appreciate it a lot, man. And no, I think you should watch this game. Yes, Madrid, Liverpool is more about the narratives. But obviously, if you're going to hate watch, you can just have it on the side on the phone. This will be the game you want to watch. You don't want to miss a single second. And Madrid, Liverpool, you can miss 30 minutes. All you care about is when, Liverpool score or something if you're going to hate watch them. What do you think about PSG and Bayern being able to rest players in the league before the UCL games in comparison to Premier Liga clubs, which can't rest players in game week 9? I mean, Barca have rest players. Madrid have rest players. Premier League clubs have rest players. I don't know if people are lying to themselves or not. That squad rotation only exists in Liga and Bundesliga. We can go now to any Barca lineup. We can actually go. Let's do it live. Barca's lineup today, and we could. Nah, you know what? I'm not going to waste time. We've already been here for a while, but if you look at Barca's lineup today, it was rotation. So where has this myth come from that you guys don't rotate? I know we lost you guys last time, but we still gave you a run of your money, and I didn't even expect it then. Dub. I don't think we'll beat you guys, but I do think we'll make things more difficult for you this time, and I think we'll shock you more than before. So I think we'll probably draw. Fair play. Very great comment here from Zertalks. Shout out to him. If you're a Bayern München fan now watching this, make sure to check out Zertalks. Great guy. Great comment here. PSG have looked really poor in Liga and playing every game with almost their main lineup. Is going to be a huge win by Bayern. Cheeky edit. I mean, Kane or Lisa, they could be good. Kimmich is probably going to drop another mid-pack. PSG Bayern combined 11. Take your picks. Already made my combined 11. Oh my, 89 likes. Would you move rapidly? Is it possible to grow pubic hair for a beard? I mean, everyone just genetically has a different beard. And I know, for example, my hair is straight, but like my dad has afro. My dad's hair is like this. So in an alternative universe, I could have had, I don't know, curly, afro, beard, and hair. One thing will dominate the game. I don't think anyone will dominate the game. I think both will try to dominate, but no one will be more dominant than the others. That's what we've seen, especially from that Club World Cup game. Barca fan hoping for the most boring 0-0 draw so people see how good they had it with prime flickball. Cheeky opinion. I actually think Bayern don't have a chance versus PSG. I say PSG wins 3-1. Vamos. Would be happy if we draw like 2-2. It all depends on the game. I mean, 2-2 has a billion different options. It could be a 2-2 that we're up 2-0 and we can see 2. It can be Bayern up 2-0 and we come back. But getting a 2-2 against Bayern, even though we're at the Park, it's not a bad result. Do you think that if PSG loses to Bayern and Bayern loses to Arsenal, then that means Arsenal is the best team in the world currently? I think if Bayern beat us and Arsenal beat Bayern, maybe not best, but they definitely have a way stronger argument then. Wahhabi fanboy? I guess that I have a beard and I have blonde hair. Do you think Harry Kane can drop deep and act as a playmaker as he did against Dortmund? I think he would probably try to do that, but it would not be as influential and impactful as it was in that Borussia Dortmund game. And wow, 111 comments. We finally did it. For the people that stayed on until now, shout out to you guys. And yeah, happy that you guys have enjoyed this content. But that's been it from my boy PSG, and continuing with these Bayern Paris Saint-Germain content. And as usual, allez, Paris.